Picking Up the Sticks. This is episode 122, Sticks Gaming Podcast. Art's pointing at me. We're doing it virtual again, if you can't tell by my voice. And the countdown is always like a thing. And then, like, as Art's counting down, the video pauses. I can't hear anything. All of a sudden, I just see this giant finger in the middle of the screen, which I'm assuming is my cue to start. So hopefully this went well. I'm Mike Carnia. To my virtual right is Mike Steak Carnia.
What's going on?
To my virtual left, Art. There is no Dana, only Zool Rosian.
That's right.
I actually
Don't you forget it.
I helped a guy named Zool.
What?
Earlier this week.
What?
His last name was Z-U-L-L. I'm assuming
my
Zool.
goodness.
You know what? If it's that close, you call him Zool. I mean,
Mr. Zool.
I would. I don't think I can say that with a straight face.
For the record, we already have a ongoing battle in my house, planning for our next dog after our current one dies for the naming rights. I'm fighting hard for Zool.
That's a good one.
It's gotta be.
You gotta get two. You gotta get the Keymaster, and you gotta get
the Gatekeeper.
The Gatekeeper.
Well, the wife's plan is we're gonna get two, and she's gonna name one, and I'm gonna name one. Mm-hmm. Hers is gonna be whatever the dog from Harry Potter is, and mine's gonna be Zool.
It's gonna be Zool and the other dog.
Yeah.
That's a good dog name.
One of those dogs is gonna get more treats than the other from me.
Much more love and cuddles and everything else.
Here you go, Zool. Have a treat. Get the fuck out of here, nerd.
Yeah. Oh, anyway. So this is a video game podcast. Last time we started with food. This time we're talking dogs. It was really great. So Art came up with a really good idea because from the last time we talked to now, the acquisition, I almost call it merger, which is incorrect. The acquisition of Bethesda.
No, there was definitely cash changing hands.
Right. Yeah. A whole big old stack of cash went to Zenimax, which is the parent company of Bethesda. So now the Bethesda game, publishing family of studios is all underneath the Microsoft banner now. So that was a big get for them. So Art had really kind of a cool idea, which will ranking our favorite first party IPs before and after the acquisition, right? That's the idea.
Not so much ranking, but just compare and contrast how the Bethesda titles becoming first party titles affects the list.
Got you.
Kind of see like what does this really have that much of an effect, or is it just all, it's a big publisher getting bought out by a ginormous company.
Gotcha.
And
right,
is it a lot of, just a lot of noise, or is there actually substance there that's going to make, kind of shake things up?
It was huge. I mean, they had like a little roundtable talk. They kind of, they showed all these new Game Pass games are going to come out. Talked about how they're going to work collaboratively on new game in the future. It's very exciting stuff. So we'll get to that in a little bit later. But Steak, what you playing?
All right. So I've gotten probably 17-ish hours into Bravely Default 2 now. I am finally in Chapter 2. I have hit like a full-on I need to grind area already. Because like I'm on a boss that I'm just getting destroyed on. So I've kind of taken a break now from it. Because I've had a couple grinding sessions like that, and now that's just I like these games. I like this type of RPG, but I always take breaks from them when I get up to another, like if I've already spent like 3-4 hours grinding and I hit another point where I need to do that again, I'm usually like, okay, I need to take a break. I need to go play something different. So I jumped between like 5 different games. I played it like 15 minutes each. I was like in like a fluke. Like I just some kind of game funk. I couldn't like nothing was like grabbing me. Like, it was weird. So finally,
so you just started playing Game Pass Roulette?
Pretty much, actually. Kind of. So one of the games I landed on that actually caught my attention for a little bit was a free game that Xbox gave us, and totally unexpected. The Lego Ninjago, the movie video game.
Okay.
So this is actually really cool. Like, it's actually a lot of fun. I haven't played a Lego game in forever. It's kind of like a little bit better I think of like because like the Lego games like for a while felt like the exact same game, just a different skin over it. Where this
Yeah.
this one feels a little different. I mean, you're still doing like a lot of the same stuff, but it feels different. And because it's based off the movie, the cutscenes look amazing. I think they're straight from the movie. I'm almost positive. Like I've never seen the movie, but it seems like it.
That's how the Lego movie video game was. Like they would take the interluding in between the different sections had like plucked right from the movie, like a scene from it. So that makes sense.
That's also how the 2016 Ratchet and Clank was.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yep. So that was kind of neat to kind of see because then it felt like kind of like more. It felt really good, and it's actually done really well. It's really interesting. So I just been dabbling with that here and there, and then we'll talk a little more about everything else. But now that Prey is on Game Pass, and I waited till the FPS boost on it as well. Oh man, this game! I can't believe we waited this long to play this game. It's pretty awesome. I mean, it's like BioShock meets System Shock. Like, I mean, like because like BioShock, like the more recent BioShock, where you still got like more like the action and everything, but then it takes it back to old school kind of in ways with the System Shock, where it's like more like exploring and like you got to be careful and things popping out at you and stuff. It's so smooth. It's so that FPS boost. Oh my god, it is so smooth. And the Dolby Atmos like emulated sound, like it's not exactly Dolby Atmos, but like the Xbox. If I had that, it sounds so good. It sounds everywhere, and it like creeps me out from time to time. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, oh god, where's one of these mimics? I can hear it. Where is it? It's behind me somewhere. So that's really neat. So I'm really going to dive more into that. I'm looking forward to really getting more into that now. And then the only other thing is the nice Xbox wireless headset. Sounds good. It's kind of neat the connection. So I had it earlier. I had it connected to my computer and the Xbox at the same time, and I was watching Captain America: The First Avenger on my Xbox while I was doing some work. But then I heard the chime for my Facebook Messenger, and while I was watching the Xbox, while I was still watching the Xbox, because you can have it simultaneously connected. So that was awesome. I think that was kind of really cool. Like, oh, nice. Cool. I know on my PC. I'm gonna jump back over to Messenger.
Act like I'm working.
Right. Yeah. So now I want to test it. Be like, oh man, I got a meeting tomorrow. Maybe I should see what is going on. See if I can focus on two things at the same time. But so far so good. And you guys said the microphone sounds pretty good. So it's nice. It's kind of nice. It's got the dials here to control the sound, which is really neat. So I don't have to like necessarily jump into the guide button and adjust with the volumes and everything, which is kind of a pain when you're in the middle of something and all of a sudden it's super loud.
Yeah, I said I watched a review for those because I was kind of interested in it myself, and that was like the thing that intrigued me the most was just like the two dials on each one of the ears, and then there's there's basically two of the buttons. Like there's a mute button I think and a microphone, and then they have like the one big button that's like kind of like the pairing and everything else.
Pairing and power up. Yep.
Yeah, and that's kind of it. And like I have the platinum headsets for PlayStation, and like half the time I gotta take them off. Be like, what the hell am I doing here? Because like I don't, it's like all the buttons feel the same.
Right.
I gotta figure out what's what. So like just having like very distinct layout and very distinct like button feel for everything, I think is a genius move like ergonomically.
Yeah, no, that's nice. And I mean, and then also too, like as you can see, kind of the reflection here, it's got this. You guys can see, but it's got this like light for the microphone, and then like that, so if it's like muted or not. And it has it has some settings where you can do some auto mute, which I have not messed around with yet, but I heard it's kind of hit or miss with it, where like if you're not talking at all, it will mute your microphone for you like automatically. Until you start talking again. And I've heard mixed things on that. I haven't tested it yet, but I'm kind of curious. But it's kind of neat to have kind of a feature like that.
Hey Art.
Yo.
Which playing?
Nothing new, and honestly, nothing really interesting. Playing.
So my turn or what?
Pretty much. Playing Madden on the Xbox, because I try to find safe games to play with the kid in the room. I can't really fire up Doom and do any ripping and tearing while the kid's sitting right there. And then just Rainbow Six on PlayStation. New season launched yesterday. That's the thing.
All right. I've been playing 3 new things, and 1 is extremely old. I don't even know where to start. I feel like I should start with the old thing because it's just so stupid. I told you guys last time I bought the NFL Head Coach 09
Yes.
to play on
that's right.
PlayStation 3. Man, I would love an updated version of that game because it's exactly what I was looking for in terms of just like the full on, coaching simulator. Steak, what are you doing? Are you like building a chair right now?
No, I was grabbing a beer.
It sounds like you're
For a
building
cooler?
beer.
No, I was ripping it off. It was in the drawer, and I was ripping it off the thing. Sorry.
God.
I mean, it did sound like you were like
Microphone's
shuffling
too
through a
good.
cooler.
Microphone's so good.
Goodness
Too
gracious.
good.
Anyway, NFL Head Coach. I know you're interrupting my review
I'm so
of
sorry.
a game from
I know.
2009.
I'm so sorry.
Your 12-year-old review.
So, yeah, I would love an updated version. And then one thing I love most about it is like when you start the season, like you start your new career, you can start right at the preseason of like that season, or you can rewind to right at the end of last season, so you can do all the free agency and all the draft before your first season. So, and they have all the players that got drafted that year all got put back in the draft. So like everything's kind of up for grabs from the very beginning. This was the Matt Ryan, Joe Flacco quarterback year. Who else? And just like going to the blast from the past of this thing was amazing. Just to see like some of these players you haven't heard of or thought of in forever. Most of them retired at this point. Like in the draft being able to get picked up.
All those first round busts.
Yeah, including the Bears. Because I looked it up. The Bears picked like some like tackle, Williams, I think it was.
Chris Williams.
Yeah, and that was the year they also picked up Matt Forte in the second round. Matt Forte was gone by the time I got to my second round pick.
Ooh.
For the record. But this had Chris Johnson was in this draft. God, who else? There's a bunch of like way down the list. Like Pierre Garçon was like ranked like a 40 overall. Like there's like little stuff like that, just like little fun stuff. But what I really like about it is like it really goes like hour by hour, day by day when you're doing the off season stuff, and like it'll come up with like you can bid on free agents, not necessarily signing them, but you got to bid on them first to get the rights to even like negotiate with them. And each free agent will pop up on your to-do, like it's called a clipboard, like your to-do list, and you got to click on each individual one and bid on each individual one and do all that stuff to actually interact with each individual player. They have all like the draft scouting, and then you send like your scouts out to colleges, you send your scouts out to different like conferences, like there's just so much information leading up to that draft, and the draft is so much fun. And you can do so many different trades, and you can put people on a trading block. And you can literally put out like a feeler out there. Like I had Cedric Benson on my team, and I was really trying to trade him really hard.
Why, Mike? Why would you want to do that?
Yeah, come on now.
I know. Well, my running backs were Cedric Benson and the other Adrian Peterson. So that's why I needed some help. But that was one of my goals, though. One of the main reasons I was trying to do that was one of my goals for the off season was to upgrade my halfback position to an 85 or more. You can either do a draft, you can do a free agency, and then depending on how you do these goals, your what do they call that? Like your confidence ranking and ownership in your locker room and fans, like all those things fluctuate based on you doing well in the games, obviously. Getting free agents, meeting these goals, even looking like prepared when you go to the field. Because throughout the week you gotta have practices and you gotta like target your practices. Mm-hmm. I started a new since I was a new head coach. I put a new offense in. No one knew anything, so it was like you're starting from complete scratch on the offensive side of things. So like I'm and I got a new quarterback. I drafted Joe Flacco.
The funny thing is, you can be in your third year as the Bears coach, and they still won't know anything.
And there's even like you can upgrade your coach, like all your coaches, like your offensive coordinators, your quarterbacks coach, your trainers. You upgrade all of them with like a skill tree. So like as like you're going along there, you have skill points to put into their skill tree to like improve quarterback play retention. I guess like they can actually lose knowledge on plays if you don't run them enough over time. So if you that's how like minutia this thing is. Like it's so drilled down deep into it, and I love it. the game itself, like when you're in the game, I think is a PlayStation 2 graphics. I think maybe like and you just call the plays, and when like big things happen, you gotta make decisions, and like those decisions to also change your confidence ranking as you go along. So like not only like when I did the draft, they wanted me to pick someone in the first round that I didn't want to pick, like the general manager did. So I wouldn't risk against someone else. So the general manager had less confidence in me because I picked somebody else. The same thing with on the field. Like if I decide to go for it on 4th and short, the fans will love it, ownership will hate it. But if I get the first down, like everyone gets a boost then because I got the first down. There's like little things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love that game so far, and I can't believe I'm playing it.
You going for the platinum?
This is before trophies.
It's pre-trophies.
Before trophies.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So no. All right, so let's talk about 2 more modern games I've been playing. I played all the way through Maquette, the PlayStation Plus game going on right now. That puzzle game, that recursive puzzle game where it's like in the middle of your play area, there's like a little looks like a toy, almost like a dollhouse, but it's like of the same city you're in. So if I take a key, like a normal size key, and then I drop it in the play, I'm just gonna keep it all a dollhouse. If I drop it in the dollhouse, I turn around. That key is now gigantic in my level, in my size of world, because it's if it's small there, it looks big in comparison, like size wise to the dollhouse. And then all the puzzles are all based off of that. And everything's intertwined with a story based on a couple and their journey as a couple. I don't want to spoil it if anyone wants to play it because it's kind of story heavy. It has some really cool beats and story moments as you go along through all these puzzles. So I appreciated that. The game itself is fine in terms of a puzzle game. Like it's not busting my brain, and it also didn't like, oh, that's really cool, I figured that out. Like it's kind of in between. Like it's difficult, but nothing's like, man, that's really cool, I just did that, or man, I feel like a genius because I figured that out. Everything is because it's basically the same kind of puzzle over and over again. Like it's, do you want the thing to be big? Do you want the thing to be small? And where does it need to be placed? That's kind of like what the vast majority of the puzzles are. But I did enjoy it. And again, it's on PlayStation Plus, so I would definitely give it a whirl. It's a PlayStation 5 game. It looks good. It doesn't look like, man, that's next gen. But it plays really great. I get to do a couple of things. I got a trophy for leaving the play area when I wasn't supposed to, so that's nice. I figured that out. Little stuff like that. And last but not least, I found this game kind of on the cheap. Like they had it on sale at Best Buy, and I had a promo coupon from them for $5 off. So I bought Mortal Shell. They just came out with a next gen enhanced edition. Man, let me tell you how much I appreciate how easy this was to do. Like I got on the Xbox because it was for some reason the Xbox version was $10 cheaper than the PlayStation version. Don't know why. Don't care why. Bought the Xbox version, put it in, and a couple seconds passed by. And it's like, hey, there's an enhanced edition. Do you want the enhanced edition? And like, of course I do. Of course I want the enhanced edition. And that's all I had to do. And it was downloading. It was streaming from the disc. It was pulling the enhanced visuals from the internet, and I had it all downloaded, ready to rock and roll in like 10 minutes. It was awesome. Now the game itself is, it's a Souls-like game, so it's supposed to be like a more confined, shorter Souls-like game, which really drew me to it because like some of those games are so long, and like in my Souls-like experience was Bloodborne, which I played a lot of twice, and a Sekiro. Sekiro didn't stick with me; that was way too hard. Bloodborne I really liked; it just hit me weird both times I played it. This one is supposed to be like 10 hours to finish, and I don't know how that's even possible because it took me about 2.5 hours to get to that point where, like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I can live. I'm beating enemies. I'm beating bosses now. So I've gotten to the point where I've taken down 2 bosses, and the I don't want to say the gimmick, but like the hook, the mechanic that's different in this game than the other Souls-like games is like you are kind of like this. I don't know how to describe it. You're like a You're not an exoskeleton.
Mech?
The other things are exoskeleton. You're like, I don't know, you're like a humanoid being that can inhabit certain dead bodies. So you find a dead body, and then that is who you're playing as now. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to figure out who those individual dead bodies are, but each one of those people have like different attributes too. So it's like like my with is just like basic. Like agility is the same, endurance is the same. Like everything is down the middle, like as even as possible. But the first shell I found had like way more health, but way less stamina. And the third one I found was the opposite. It had way more stamina, way less health. So like they all have different abilities and backstories, and just like any of those Souls-like games, like you're finding either souls or blood echoes from Bloodborne. In this one, you're finding what they call tar, which is just something to collect off people. I don't know what tar is. As all these games are, they're very ambiguous on story and what the hell's going on. But the tars are things that you collect. You collect them. You turn them into this lady, and she gives you abilities. So you find tar, and you find oh my god, what's the other thing called? Not insights. I'm not gonna remember it. But you find this other piece that's harder to find, and like you need 3 of those and like 8,000 tar to download this new ability or to get this new ability. Now, it took me really long to find the main tower that has all of my stuff in it. So I died so much in the first 2 hours of me playing this game. I knew I was doing something wrong. And like the very first like opening you go to, there's like 3 openings, and I just picked the wrong one. If I would have gone straight, killed 2 guys, I would have gotten to a point where I could find my lady that I can upgrade my shells. I can find my lady or the guy I can upgrade my gear. I can find the guy who can sell me like health potions and stuff like that. So I was just like, okay, now that I found these guys, I know what I'm supposed to do in terms of if it gave me the story I was supposed to actually follow and go find, and then actually the ability to start actually killing people. But those first like 2 hours, it was like one of those things where like, okay, I know this game's supposed to be frustrating, but I'm very frustrated. But overall, like but once you get 5, but all those games have that like that hump to get over. Like Bloodborne has it like that main street that you just get wrecked on the first time you go down it, and then it's like you start building up, get a little bit further down that street, building up, get a little bit further down that street. Next thing you know, you're just tearing through that street. I needed to find my street in this game. I think I finally found like the loop I need to do to kind of like just farm some tar to get to the point where I upgraded my weapons and things like that. So now that I've kind of got that stuff down, I think I can finally progress on a more steady basis. But the fighting is, man, it's brutal. It's like every enemy is a legitimate threat. Like even the easiest ones can like if you get more than 2 of them, and like you misfire on like a parry or misfire on the way you block in this game is like you actually make like it's called harden, and you harden your outer shell, and it like so someone hits you and they like bounce off you and then kind of like stuns them, and you can go in for attack. So if you like mistime some of those things, there's more than 2 of those guys on you, you're in trouble. So there's a lot of like one thing I'm kind of finding myself doing, which I don't necessarily like, but I don't know if again I might just be playing the game, I don't know, but I'm definitely cheesing the systems. So I know like all right, these little guys can see me from further away than a big guy, so I'm gonna creep up until the littlest guys see me, and I'm gonna run away and kite them over to me and kill them real quick. Then have that that bigger guy to myself. So like again, I don't. Am I cheesing it? Am I playing it? Hard to say. But I'm really liking it. Like,
isn't that the Souls like theme? Like like sometimes like you gotta get to that point where like you just gotta cheese it. Sometimes like you find that thing that works. It's like all right, cool. I'm gonna keep doing this until it doesn't work anymore. Like,
so I don't think I was supposed to get to this boss yet. Each one of the shells I think has a boss, and you can have you have a couple different weapons you can get. And I kind of just like stumbled upon this boss that had a new weapon, and I just kept being like just far enough away from him to do like a thrusting move, and I think I probably just hit him with just like the tip of my sword. I would run away, then I would do it again, and I would run away, and it was like, and I just did that for like probably 15 minutes before I finally killed him. But it worked. I got his mace. So yeah, I mean, there's little things like that. That's just like I don't know. If that's just like a matter of tuning differently, or if that's just how those games work, or whatever. But overall, I am really enjoying it. Um, I would kill a man for a map in that game though, because everything kind of looks the same. I'm like, I know, like I don't know if this is where I'm supposed to go or not. And they don't tell you. They don't care about your time at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, really digging Mortal Shell. I mean, so the enhanced edition just came out for PlayStation 5 and Series X. If you're into that kind of thing, I'd definitely go for it. All right, I'm done talking. Steak, it's coming out next couple weeks.
All right. Got a few things here. March 23rd, Overcooked All You Can Eat is coming out for PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox.
All right.
March 25th, Yakuza 6, The Song of Life for PC and Xbox. Now, if you guys did want to jump into a Yakuza, this would not be a bad one because it is the last of the
I think the last one
series. It's the last one, but when there's a part right at the beginning where you can see it basically summarizes every game. You can talk to like 5 different people, like 6 different people, and each person you talk to summarizes like Yakuza 0 through 5.
All right.
So
how long are those cutscenes?
they're not terrible. Honestly, they're not that long. I would say they like I mean, obviously you're not getting like the whole chunk of it, but you're getting like the important bits of it. So I'd say at the most 5 minutes.
Okay.
At the very most, yeah. On March 26th, Balan Wonderland for PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, and Xbox. Square Enix does have a direct tomorrow. Tomorrow from when we're recording this. I have a feeling that's getting delayed. I just have this gut feeling that it will be announced that it's getting delayed during that, just because of the way the demo was and the response to the demo.
It was universally panned from the demo. I mean, again, demo's a demo, but just like I didn't see a single positive thing about it.
Nope. So we'll see what happens there. Also on March 26th, It Takes Two on PC, PS4, PS5, and Xbox. Also on March 26th, Monster Hunter Rise for the Nintendo Switch. And also on March 26th, the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 for PS5 and Xbox Series X.
Do you know what the convoluted upgrade method of that is?
It gets me very angry.
Which game is this?
Tony
Hawk.
Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah. So, PlayStation, if you have physical or digital, doesn't matter. You get the upgrade. If you get the digital deluxe, you get the upgrade, I believe, for free. If you have the physical or standard edition, you could pay $10 to get the upgrade. On Xbox, if you have the digital deluxe, you get the upgrade. But if you have the physical or the standard edition, you're out of luck. Period.
What?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because Phil Spencer says you are not allowed to charge to upgrade the game. So the Activision's way around that. Fine, they give us a whole nother $50 for the game, and I will not be doing that. Forget that. Screw that. That's ridiculous. That makes me very angry at Activision.
100%. And like, I mean, I don't know what that upgrade is going to be. Was it like going to be $10?
It's $10. Yeah, it is. I mean, if the option there was for $10, like, yeah, I wouldn't be happy about it, but fine, I'd do it. Like, because it's like it's $10. It sucks, but whatever. It's fine. It's at least, but I'm not paying a whole other $50 for it on Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, no way. But like, I don't know. I didn't go back into Control and even like look at the you know what I mean? Like, I haven't even done that yet with my PlayStation 5. I 100% at both the 1 and 2. Like, I can't. I don't know. It just. I just don't know how. I don't know. This feels like one of those things that they could have just done, and everyone was happy, and like everyone was already super happy with Tony Hawk 1 and 2. You know what I mean? Like why'd you gotta put a turd on my ice cream?
100%.
Like, I just don't know.
100%. I was very upset, as I'm sure you guys saw on Twitter. I was very upset.
You're upset about a lot of things on Twitter.
That's what Twitter's for. Get my
I would
anger
say
out.
it's like 75% of your Twitter existence is to be angry about things.
Yeah, pretty much.
Your Twitter personality is my real life personality.
You gotta get it out somehow, right? I mean, on March 30th, every single Kingdom Hearts game that exists will be out on the PC for the very first time. So that's pretty cool. Also on March 30th, Disco Elysium, the final cut, is coming for PC, PS4, and PlayStation 5. And I believe the Xbox version is supposed to be sometime later this year.
Okay.
So I think it's it's a time exclusive for PS5, which I've heard so many great things about that. I'm very tempted.
Yeah, that sounds like a game for me. It also has like
Mhm.
a detective story in it. That sounds like a
Mhm.
game for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just hoping it doesn't like. I don't know much about it, and I'm probably just gonna jump into it blind, just based on like reputation alone. The last time I did that was Kentucky Route Zero, and I was not a fan.
Well, go on.
So
Do you have Steam installed somewhere in your house?
yes,
Go into Steam and go into the store and look at the trailer they have on there.
I can just look at a trailer on YouTube, can't I?
You run the risk
Why
of
you gotta be Steam?
well,
Ah,
Steam. You know is the trailer they released. You go to YouTube and you search for it, you might get who knows what.
yeah, that's true too.
Or I mean, worst case, you can always go walk. I mean, if you watch a walkthrough of like the first chapter, like that won't spoil too much, then you can kind of get a good idea if it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Worth it.
The one thing I do know about this new edition, it includes full voice acting, which is a big plus.
Yeah, absolutely. And then finally, on April 1st, Outriders for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox, and Stadia. And we'll dive into that a little bit more in just a second here.
Yes, we will.
So as we talked about earlier, the Bethesda purchase, the Zenimax purchase, has been completed. So as of March 12th, we got a buttload of games added to Game Pass. So
All right,
here we go.
So
write that
just for
down.
the
As
record.
Scientific Journals 20 is a buttload.
Oh damn it, Art! Why are you louder than me on this? This is exactly what I was gonna say. For now, it's forever. 20 is a buttload.
There we go. Hey,
I'll have one buttload of bagels.
I like it. 20 is a good round number.
Exactly.
All right. So we got Dishonored Definitive Edition for console, PC, and cloud. Dishonored 2, console, PC, and cloud. Doom 1993, console, PC, cloud. Doom 2, Doom 3, Doom 64, Doom Eternal. All of the Dooms, cloud, PC, and cloud. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind for console and PC.
That was
The Elder
fun.
Scrolls, Morrowind's a good one. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion for console and PC. The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim Special Edition for console, PC, and cloud. Does the cloud count as a new release? Do we add that to another
Sure.
system?
Yeah, I think so.
The Elder Scrolls Online to cloud and console. The Evil Within to console, PC, and cloud. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I did start that up again for the first time.
Oh yeah.
I got to chapter 2. It's just not grabbing me. I don't know.
It's the same. It was the same thing. I mean, well, we'll talk about Bethesda here as a whole in a minute. But it was the same thing for me. Like I was super excited for 2. I was like, man, I gotta check out 1 before 2 comes out.
Yeah.
And like it just didn't do anything for me. I don't know. It's hard to. I don't know what I didn't like about it, but it just. I don't know. It was like almost like too weird to be like motivating for me to keep going. Like
Yeah.
there was no like reason. I don't know the reason I was where I was or what I was doing or why I was doing it.
Yep. No, yeah, I agree. That was the thing. I can't pinpoint exactly why it's not grabbing me, but at the same time, it's like, I got to a point where I was roaming a forest. I'm just like, oh wait, I hit the end of the level. Oh, when did that happen? Like it was kind of like one of those things. It was really weird. I don't know. Fallout 4 for console, PC, and cloud. Fallout 76 console, PC, and cloud. Fallout New Vegas for console. Prey for console, PC, and cloud. Rage 2 console, PC, cloud. Wolfenstein: The New Order console PC cloud, Wolfenstein: The Old Blood console PC cloud, and Wolfenstein: Youngblood console PC cloud.
There's a
So
buttload.
that was all the buttload of Bethesda.
That's a full buttload right there.
And then, do you have the FPS boosts that were added or no in your
Nope.
news? No. Okay. Well, let's see if I got this right. Prey, Fallout 76, Oblivion, and Skyrim, I believe. Those are the ones that got upgraded with the FPS boosts, I believe. Someone can double check me on that. Prey and Fallout 76, I know for sure. Those two for sure.
Is Fallout 4 on that list?
Oh yeah, Fallout 4 was on that list.
I'll say
That's right.
You named 4 games, there were 5. That's all I know.
Okay, then I think that's it. I think that was what I was missing. Let's see here. Okay, and now there's more Game Pass games that are non Bethesda, but even more Game Pass games.
Most of the news Steak's just going to cover here because
it's crazy. This has been an insane week for Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Undertale is now available for cloud, console, and PC, which is awesome because I've actually never played it, so I am super pumped to give that a try. Empire of Sin for cloud, console, and PC, March 18th.
Yeah, buddy. I'm
out
excited
now.
about that one.
It's out now. I just started the download.
Correct.
Oh, nice.
Though maybe I shouldn't
Automata?
have done that. We're in the middle of a podcast. It's too late.
It's fine.
It's too late. I've gone too far.
It's all right. Nier Automata for PC, March 18th. Star Wars Squadrons for console, March 18th is being added to EA Play, which is also part of Game Pass. Torchlight 3 for PC, March 18th. Genesis Noir, PC and console on March 25th. Super crazy excited for this, which I did not expect and did not know this was happening. Octopath Traveler for console and PC on March 25th.
Yeah, I did a double take on that when I saw that. I'm like, wait, what?
Exclusivity is finally up on that. Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire Ultimate Edition for PC on March 25th. Supraland on PC on March 25th. As we said earlier, Yakuza 6, The Song of Life for cloud, console, and PC on March 25th. Narita Boy for console, cloud, and PC on March 30th. And as we mentioned earlier, Outriders for cloud and console on April 1st. Day one release.
I'm excited about that one because I think they have cross-play on that, so that's going to save me money on a game that I wasn't pumped about paying full price for.
Yes, they do have cross-play. I hear right now, currently in the beta, it's not working fantastic. So hopefully by April 1st they fix that. But everything that I've been hearing from people and stuff, it sounds like everyone, like this is the right call for Outriders to get a fan base going.
Yeah, I mean, I played through the demo and I don't remember what the retail on that was. 50, 60. It was higher than
60.
Yeah, it was more than I really wanted to pay for that game.
Yeah,
I would say probably, if I bought that on day 140 is about as high as I'd want to go.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see it going to Game Pass.
Yeah, I'll definitely. I played a little bit of the demo. It was neat. But yeah, this will entice me to jump in with friends because I know some friends that were thinking about getting it. I wasn't going to, but now that they are, or now that they can just download it, why not?
Right. Game Pass. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? That's right.
Kurt, your motto it just fits. It never goes away.
Is that all you got?
Go
ahead.
No, I can say that is that's a buttload plus right there. That's even more than a buttload of games that got coming to Game Pass recently, and some of those look really really cool. Like
how many games were on that extra list you had there? Not Bethesda.
Let me count them. Let's see here.
We're going to coin a new term here.
Oh,
Or, well, set a new numeric
12.
value. Okay, so
12.
32,
So
32 is an
32
ass load.
games
Ass ton.
in 2 weeks.
is a baker's ass ton.
There you go.
Does that mean that 30 is a standard ass ton?
Yes,
That
that's correct.
Everyone, update your math classes.
I can get behind this.
Well, someone get the school district on the line. Someone needs to educate these kids.
All right, I think is it time for news?
It's time
What's
for
left
news.
of the news.
There's not a whole lot to the news here, but
Do it.
so the whole Microsoft purchase of Zenimax, they did a roundtable discussion the day that was announced. The big quote to come out of that one is Phil Spencer saying, "This is about delivering great exclusive games on platforms where Game Pass exists." I think that before that they were saying some games will be exclusive. I think Phil Spencer's comment there is pretty definitive on what they plan on doing with the Bethesda titles.
100%. And one of the things I was preparing for today was I was going to list off a bunch of Bethesda possible sequels coming out in the future, and do you think it's going to be exclusive or not? I decided to delete that after hearing this because it sounds like everything that's not like when you say like legacy, I'm assuming that means like Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Online and things you've already had out in the past running on these other consoles are going to still be supported.
Yeah, I don't think they're not gonna go pull Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 from the PlayStation Store. It's still gonna exist there. But when Fallout 5 comes out, that will be a Game Pass, Xbox and PC exclusive, unless suddenly Game Pass shows up on Switch and PlayStation.
And that's why I think he was being very strategic about how he said that.
Oh yeah, no,
because there's still that because like PlayStation, I doubt, but the Switch, I'm still waiting for it to be announced for Switch. I am still waiting for that. With their great, I mean, they have a great relationship. It's obvious. So
if Sony called them and said, "Hey, what about Game Pass on PlayStation?" they would absolutely go for it because
Microsoft would do it.
Yeah, they don't care what platform it's on. They want that subscription money, and if they can get it on every platform that's out there, that's a big win for them.
Yep. Does that so? Do you guys think that means Indiana Jones is going to be exclusive?
I'm not sure
that's
about
one. Man, that's one I was just like.
Well, it's one. It's one they already announced that the contracts are ink's already dry on those before this sale was completed, so that may already be decided before they ultimately have a say in it. Plus, I think Disney's probably going to want as much money out of that as they can get.
True.
Yeah, I would assume part of the deal was like we will be delivering a product on these consoles.
Right.
I can't fathom they wouldn't have signed an agreement that didn't have that on there.
Right.
So I think that was the only one I was going to point to of being like, okay, that one's probably going to be on both. But I feel like everything else,
everything going forward,
yeah,
like everything that I would almost say hasn't been announced yet, it's probably going to be exclusive going forward.
What about Starfield?
Exclusive
on Xbox exclusive. The next Elder Scrolls, same deal.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
Elder Scrolls for sure. Yeah, but I would say Starfield's one that they've been developing for a while now. So that's the only reason why I'm like, I still kind of hesitate a bit on that. But it's gonna be so big. Like everyone's been waiting for it.
Yeah,
I think
but
it's ideal for just Xbox.
But it's published by Bethesda. It is by Bethesda Game Studios as the developer.
Bethesda original IP.
They don't have like this some kind of weird corporation overlords signing a contract with them on this one. So like that one, I think that's gonna be the first big that $9 billion whatever the fuck they spent on it. I think that's gonna be that first
7.5
get back. How much is it?
7.5.
7.5.
Mike. Yeah.
What's 1.5 billion between friends?
Woof.
Sure, they got a stimmy check. They're good.
Yeah, right.
They got their Biden bucks.
Do they count other employees as dependents? Because that would be a big check.
Not all of their employees are American citizens.
Anyway.
But one of the things that out of that, like they mentioned that working together to make better experiences and better games. I'm hoping having the backing of Microsoft and only developing for one platform will help improve some of those launch bugs and issues that Bethesda games are well known for. Specifically, the Fallouts and the Elder Scrolls of the world.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and also like that works like in the other way around too, where I assume, I mean, Doom's guns feel so good. So maybe that's one of those things where like the 343 is doing Halo now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know anything about Halo for the record. So yeah, they're making that game. They're making that game now. Do you think they'd go over to id Software and be like, "Hey, how does this feel? How can we make this feel better?" You know what I mean? I think that collaboration really goes in both ways, and it's steel sharpening steel at this point, which it's great. I watched about half that round table, and that was really what I gathered from it is how collaborative they already have been before
Right.
this acquisition, and now afterwards, like I can't even man, they can just have so much information going both ways, and systems going both ways, and people going both ways, and just there's so much they can do now because that their stable of developers is just so huge now. Time to get the games out.
Yep.
Yep.
Isn't their next game coming out a PlayStation timed exclusive?
The next two.
It is. Yeah.
Oh, the irony.
Oh, by the way, real quick, speaking of PlayStation exclusive Bethesda games, Deathloop, right?
Yeah.
So they've been having like I think Game Informer is like that's like their highlight of this month. I think it's Game Informer, maybe it's IGN. Someone's doing like a month long profile. It's Game Informer, a month long profile on Deathloop, and I still don't know how the multiplayer works.
Awesome.
Perfect.
So
That's great. That's great.
Just an FYI. No new news.
The only other news item I have is today on the PlayStation blog they announced that they're adding 10 games to their Play at Home program, which they had announced a couple weeks ago. They were putting Ratchet and Clank 2016 out there for free for people, anyone with a PlayStation account, basically to go out and claim and download. The games that they're adding are Abzu, Enter the Gungeon, which is a fantastic game, Res Infinite, Subnautica,
Awesome.
The Witness, which has already been a PlayStation Plus game, but if you didn't grab it then, you can grab it now.
Yeah.
They threw some VR titles in here. Astrobot Rescue Mission, great game. Moss, I've heard nothing but great things about.
Fantastic.
Very, very good.
Thumper.
Awesome.
Paper Beast.
Which I hear is excellent.
And on April 19th, Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition.
Ooh,
which if you haven't played that by now, definitely grab that when it's out.
But what's different on this list of games as opposed to like the PlayStation Plus games, like you own these. Like you don't like if you don't have PlayStation Plus anymore, like you still have these.
So you still want to claim them again.
Oh yeah.
So if you claimed it, because that was the thing with the Ratchet and Clank, even if you claimed it for the PlayStation Plus, you actually have to claim it again to fully own it then. Correct. So don't forget to do that.
Yeah, man. It's like I mean a few VR games in there which are big, like good ones too. Like ones that, like I mean still kind of early on games, but Paper Beast came out like in the last couple of years. So that's kind of interesting how much VR pushing they're doing recently with Farpoint being on PlayStation Plus, now this.
Yeah, because Res Infinite has a VR mode too, which I always wanted to grab Res Infinite because of the VR mode, and I never did, and I'm glad I did it now. Because I'm so pumped to try that in VR. That game is so trippy; it's gonna be crazy.
I can't even imagine. But yeah, but like The Witness is like a lot of people love that game. Like I did that. Like, when I played that game, it was just like I was in the wrong headspace for it. So like and you need to be in the right headspace for The Witness. Yeah, there's a bunch of really good games, and then you cap it all off with Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a phenomenal game.
Yep.
Get everyone ready for the next one.
Yes, sir. All right. That's it, right?
That's it.
All right, cool. So, Art, this was your idea, so I'm gonna let you talk on it. What was your idea?
So, my idea was when this popped into my head. it was right around probably a week before they announced the finalized acquisition of Zenimax by Microsoft, and I had the thought of everyone's talking about this and hyping it up like it's such a huge deal, and I thought to myself like, what does this really do in the as far as the first party IPs? Like, what does this do? Does it shake? Does it actually shake things up like everyone's saying it's going to? Is it just going to be more games on Xbox that they're first party but they're not that great? Kind of compare and contrast. So what I wanted to do was have each of us do a top 10 list of Microsoft and Sony first party IPs before the ZeniMax purchase, and then adjust it for after the ZeniMax purchase, and just kind of see what changes for us. So it was really a loose criteria like that. It wasn't like what are your best, what are your favorite, what do you think the most influential ones are. It was kind of what do you think the top 10 ones are for whatever reason you put them in there. So we decided to do that.
So, all right, the way I approached my top 10 was I looked at them like I would like pair games off from each other and like which one would I rather play, like right now, and then like it was almost like a tournament style type of thing I did. So like, did I want to play this? These games aren't on the list, but like, did I want to play, you know, Madden, or do I want to play MLB? Like, which one would I rather play first? Okay, Madden. Okay, that one goes up high. And then like I would go against the next one, and I would just keep moving that up until I get to where I was. And my lists are very similar before and after Bethesda acquisition, to be honest.
Yeah, mine are pretty similar. Which obviously they're going to be. You're not going to go from 10 non-Bethesda games to 10 Bethesda
Right.
IPs. That's not the way it's going to work. So they're going to be similar for all three of us. Mine was kind of I went through lists of like all of Sony's first party IPs, all of Microsoft's first party IPs, and if I thought they would be for, and I have all kinds of reasons in I have my favorite games in there. I have ones that I know just kind of are really popular and really big for the video game industry. Ones that are excellent at what they do. Um, and I kind of just made a list, go through the list like, yes, this is one, this is one, this is one. These stand out to me for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then I pared that list down to 10.
Okay.
And then I took the list and went through Bethesda's list, and I'm like, okay, which of these titles could potentially be in this, what I consider in the top 10, and I, took those handful out and then looked at the list like, would I replace any of the ones in my original list with these ones I pulled out here?
Yeah, I also excluded anything that didn't like that felt like they're not making any more of them. Like I didn't put like Jack and Daxter on there because they're never making any one of those ever again.
All of mine are active IPs.
Yeah. Yeah, I a couple like I'm looking right now at my list and I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wait a minute, those last couple I have, they haven't made it in a while, but I have a couple of replacements for it. But I'm like, man, but for me, they're top IPs where it's
Then,
like,
yeah, then whatever. I'm saying with my.
But I'm with you. No, absolutely, because it's like I would love to have these two back, but I have so I can, these are basically for the way I did my list was like, all right, this is what I would play. As soon as I see a game, if I see a game coming out that is from this IP, I'm getting it. Like, and that's in that kind of order. Like that's kind of how I went about doing mine. Where then with adding Bethesda, it's the same list, just I added, adding a couple and just shifting my original list down.
Right, and like my list, I don't have them in a ranking order. I have 10 games, and I swapped a handful out for the Bethesda games that I would put in that group of 10.
Oh, I ranked them.
Good for you.
I did mine. I ranked mine too.
Good for you. I did this in the middle of conference calls at work today, so.
All right. So how do you want to do this? Like do you want to go like round? You want to do like me just read my list from 10 to 1 and then go to the next person, or how do you want to do this?
I mean, read your list and then I guess just tell us how it would change with Bethesda games.
So here is my.
I was to say, like, we don't need to go a deep dive into what you put for whatever reason. I mean, you can if you want to, but the more of the talking point is just supposed to be the overall change in your list and what we think that means.
All right. So so I'll start at number 10, which actually kind of surprised me. Ghost of Tsushima is number 10 for me because I said I played about 20 hours of that game, and I felt like I saw everything that game could do, and I was happy with it. But like I can't even like there's so much more there they could do and keep so much of what they already have done and be totally happy with it. Very excited to see what they're doing next with that one. Number 9, the Ori series, 2 phenomenal games. Absolutely love them both, and I really hope they keep making them. Number 8, Spider-Man. Again, 2 great games. A game and a half, maybe game and 3/4.
We'll say game and a half.
Okay, but yeah, both those love. I mean, then just the Spider-Man IP alone is so great, and that game is still so satisfying just to swing around in. Number 7 is Hellblade. I adore the first one. The second one is just on that first video is just such a hype moment for me. I watched that video so many times. I'm just super excited to see what it actually is when it comes out. That's one of my most excited or most anticipated Xbox first-party games coming out sometime in the future. We haven't really seen much past that initial video. Number 6 is Fable. I almost didn't put it on the list because I don't know if it's real or not. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's dead. I don't know if it's alive. But I love it. I love number 2. I like the third one. I actually still never played the first one. But like they're apparently putting a new one out, so would love a new Fable game. Number 5 is Gears. I've liked all the Gears games a lot. That's one of those things I always end up buying right off. I would have bought it off the bat if it wasn't for Game Pass. Number 4 is Uncharted. Again, I don't know if they're dead or not yet. Both, the Naughty Dog franchises are like they can do whatever they want right now with both of them. Like they both kind of wrapped up in a way that might be the last one ever, or they can do 19 different side stories in the world they've created for both of them. So who knows? So who knows either way? But I just love the Uncharted series. I loved 4. I love 4 a lot. This way it all wrapped up and ended. Number 3 is Horizon Zero Dawn, Forbidden West. Super excited for Forbidden West. Love that game. I cannot believe how much more time I put in that game. Number 2 is God of War. Excited for Ragnarok. Love God of War 2018. And then number 1 is Last of Us. They will have my $70 every time they want it. So the only game that now cracks my top 10 is Elder Scrolls. I played the hell out of Oblivion. I played Skyrim multiple times in multiple places for multiple hours. I just excited to see. I'm so happy Art brought that up in terms of just like the Bethesda jank. Is that still going to be a thing?
God, I hope not.
With the dump truck of Microsoft money, like is that Cyberpunk had a shit ton of money too, and that game was a disaster. So like, and I mean, this next game is very far off because Starfield is going to be first.
I'm really hoping developers everywhere use Cyberpunk as like a cautionary tale going forward.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that will be the case.
Yeah, I put Elder Scrolls. It ended up being my number 8, right below Hellblade and above Spider-Man. And then when I was looking through, I don't want to like talk too much about what I excluded, but like Fallout was just there. I loved 3. Art knows how much I love 3. I played the bejesus out of 3. New Vegas didn't vibe with me because it did more of the survival stuff, which I wasn't in for as much. And I didn't even play 4. Wolfenstein would have been number 11 for me, to be honest with you, just because like I love those games. But I'd rather play an Ori game than play a Wolfenstein game, to be honest. But yeah, that's the only thing that cracked into my top 10 was Elder Scrolls.
Steak, you want to go next or want me to go?
Sure, I'll go really quick. Right, so I'm gonna keep to my original list here. So my first so before Bethesda, my first 2 here are IPs that don't really exist anymore, but they were great. At number 10, Siren. Siren was a fantastic horror game. There was one on PS2 and there's one on PS3. They were both absolutely incredible. They were awesome. I would love. I doubt it's going to happen since it seems like Studio Japan's disappearing, which is unfortunate. But those games were absolutely incredible because like Until Dawn kind of got there, but it was still like the Americanized version of like that, where that's like Siren's like the Japanese horror, like that kind of like it's its own other genre.
Yeah, they came out like the same time that like The Ring came out. It
Right.
was like it was
And
like that
Grudge.
same. Yes, it was like the
Yep.
same like the same vibe to it. No, that's a good call. I didn't even think about Siren.
Yeah, both those games are awesome. And then number 9, Siphon Filter.
Oh yeah,
is fantastic. Those games were so good. Those games were so awesome. Even the PSP one was fantastic.
both of them were great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I would love to see them maybe bring that series back. You never know. It seems like every generation they decide to bring some games back. So that'd be awesome if we can maybe get a new Siphon Filter. So now let's get into more the modern stuff. Number 8 for me is Forza. I enjoy Forza very much. I mean, I always hit a point where then it gets too hard for me. But like that first like week though, I play so much of it, and I really enjoy Forza. Number 7, Gears of War. Gears of War is just so good. I mean, it always looks technically great, plays great, and everything. For number 6, I didn't know what to call it, so I just called it Astrobot. So everything that has to do with Astrobot, like the player rooms, everything that we've done so far, I mean, everything they've done has been fantastic. Like, it's been amazing, and I cannot wait to. They're not done. Like, so I cannot wait to see what else they're going to do.
I think they've said that that studio's focusing on making more Astrobot experiences.
Good.
Correct. Good. Just in time for PSVR 2.
Let that be a launch title.
Dude, it's like that's what they do, right? That's what they did with the Astrobot Rescue Mission came out with the PSVR 1. Playroom came out with the PlayStation 5. It just makes sense to me.
Yeah. Number 5 is Everybody's Golf, which is what it's called now, or Hot Shots Golf that we've known for a while. I absolutely adore. I love these games. Like, that is just like realistic golfing games are not for me, but I'll play the hell out of these games all day. Number 4, Fable. I absolutely love the Fable series. Cannot wait to see what Microsoft does with it. I'm so excited it's coming back. Number 3, God of War. I've enjoyed God of War through all the years, through everything except for Ascension. But in the new God of War is fantastic, and can't wait for Ragnarok. Number 2 is Spider-Man. I mean, like this, it's Spider-Man's story and everything. I mean, it's just so good. And then number 1, Ratchet and Clank. Every time the Ratchet and Clank's coming out, I'm super like the new one coming out in June. I cannot wait, and I will have that beat in like a week. Like, that's just the way those games always are for me. Adding Bethesda, I added 2 franchises for Bethesda, not the Elder Scrolls, so mine are different. For me, the first one I added was Doom, and I would put that in the number 4 spot. So basically, Siphon Filter and Siren get knocked off here. So adjust everything accordingly. So Doom, I put at number 4. Absolutely love. I've always been a big fan of Doom, and everything they've been doing recently has just been awesome. I almost forgot that the Doom 3 VR is coming out at the end of March here. I'm so curious and cannot wait to see what that's going to be like. I mean, Doom 3 is still scary as hell. I can't even imagine that in VR. It's going to be insane. And then now it's just a metal blow shit up fest, and I love it. Absolutely love it. And then the other series I added, I have been a fan since day 1 of this franchise. I will buy every single one that comes out. It is my number 1 IP, and that is Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
I always loved Wolfenstein. I've always have loved Wolfenstein. I will continue to love Wolfenstein. Even when they throw me a Youngblood, I will.
Oh, see, except for Youngblood.
Except for Young.
Did you
Everyone
ever
gets a Youngblood.
Did you ever play their VR game they put out?
Cyberpilot?
Yeah.
I've not played Cyberpilot, but I just saw that it was on sale for $10, and I'm really tempted to grab it now since it's on sale for $10. And it was only like $20 to begin with, but hey, $10 is better. Yeah, no, that's the only one I haven't played, and I really want to. I'm thinking about grabbing that to check it out because I heard a lot of mixed things about it. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to play that in VR. But yeah, and then Youngblood, I also have not played since they added like the pause functionality and they made it all the. I haven't played it since launch, and like because the launch was just a mess. Like, but I hear it's a lot better now, and it's on Game Pass. So I should probably re-download that and jump back into it and try to give it another go. But the Wolfenstein. I mean, there was the one that was just called Wolfenstein that was on 360. It was the red cover. I don't know if you guys remember that one.
Oh yeah.
Before, like barely anyone bought it. Like it was like it actually sold pretty poorly, like for Wolfenstein standards. But man, like that one was so good. Like it was so good. Like I bought that day one. It was I loved every minute of it. And then the new ones have just been just incredible what they've been doing with it, which makes me very excited for Indiana Jones because it's Machine Head again. So that does make me really excited for Indiana Jones. But hopefully, Wolfenstein 3 is not too far behind.
Okay. So mine, and you'll see this. The order of the list is just going to go PlayStation into Microsoft because that's the order that I had in my sheet here when I started deleting names out. So I have the Horizon series. Anyone who's listened to me on this podcast for the last 2 years knows how I feel about that. Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank. I put Uncharted and Last of Us in like the same thing because they're both. It's the same gameplay and they both have great storytelling. If you told me to pick one or the other, I would have Uncharted on this list, and I probably wouldn't have Last of Us on this one. But they're similar enough games to me that I just put them in one line. I just put Naughty Dog game, whatever.
I'll allow it.
For sure. Yep.
I put MLB The Show on here. For now, this still applies, but possibly the best sports simulation game out there. I think the general consensus is it's between that and NBA 2K.
Real quick, I'm MLB 21. I buy baseball like once every like 5 years.
Yeah.
And I think it might be this year. Get the next gen because it looks so good, and they're doing a really good job of keep popping up on my like YouTube and Twitter feed. So like they just keep showing up. I'm like, man, that looks great. That looks like fun.
I jumped into the stress test on Xbox for a little bit, and it looks good, really good. It's really smooth.
I need to see it at some point because it looked and ran good on PS4. So I'm curious.
It's really impressive. Like I don't know if I don't know if the stress test on Xbox is like the Series X version or not. I'm assuming it is, but I'm not 100%. Like there's no like indication on it.
Right.
But it's it looks really good.
I would say I did have a bunch of their various accounts followed on Twitter, and I had to unfollow them all because every time I see Fernando Tatis Jr. and his success, it stings just a little bit as a White Sox fan.
I hear you, man.
So the next one I had, I don't have any personal experience with this, but it is a huge IP, and it's only gotten bigger after their last entry. God of War, it kind of took on a whole new life of its own after the 2018 game came out.
God, I keep forgetting you haven't played that game yet.
Yep. Have it.
Oh my God, that's right.
I have it downloaded. Listen, if I play that, I have to play less Rainbow Six, and
that might give you some.
Just not going to happen. I just poured.
That is a good.
I just poured 70 hours into Yakuza. Okay.
And how do you feel about that?
I really enjoyed it. I was really frustrated that I couldn't do New Game Plus on the PS5 version. So I feel about it.
I hope someday they fix that for you.
The next two, not really my cup of tea, but they are the absolute best at what they do, and you know, in one case, it's the only product like that I know. So I have Forza on here. That's, I think, pretty widely considered the best racing sim game out there, or you know, whether it's Horizon or Motorsport. I have Flight Simulator on here. They put one out every handful of years, and when they do, I mean, it's the only flight sim game out there, and there are people who have full multi-$1,000 setups to simulate their chair being an airplane cockpit.
Oh yeah,
and nobody else puts out anything that even comes close to it. I have Hellblade on here. While I did hit a frustrating point with the gameplay in that one, I do appreciate what they were doing with the psychological aspect of it, and you know the way they worked the sound and the visuals, and brought in psychologists and psychiatrists to consult on it. It really was something else.
It's still one of the most unique gaming experiences I've ever had.
Yes. And then the last one I have on here is basically the damn, I had a term for this. Basically, the starter drug for a lot of kids when it comes to video games, Minecraft. They took such they just took us. It's the gateway drug. There we go. They took such a simple premise and have done so much with that and put it on everything. And kids everywhere play it. It's used in classrooms now. I've heard doctors tell parents to have their kids play it just to have virtual Legos basically that you can play with, and if you're in the creative mode there. So that's my list of 10. So I had 3 Bethesda titles I put in here. Wolfenstein I had in here just because the recent entries they've put in with that game, I love what they've done. And then, I mean, historically, it was one of the first big name FPS games out there, right alongside Doom. So one of the games that got that started. I have Fallout on here, in spite of the Bethesda jank. They do put out some great games where it's literally just you can do anything. You can walk into an area where you're supposed to talk to a person and have them throughout the whole game, and you could shoot them and they're gone. Your game changes. You can
lose a mission forever because you blow up a town. And
you can blow up Megaton.
You need to have all the achievements in Fallout 3, Art.
Did they take that off Game Pass? It was on Game Pass.
I don't know.
Just re-download it and play to that part. It's not that long.
Actually, I was like, my save might actually be still there.
You don't want the save. You want to start over so you can go back and have Megaton there, not blow it up.
Yeah, maybe.
And then I included Elder Scrolls just because all the list of games they added to Game Pass are all hits. Like there's not a miss in that series of 5 games added to Game Pass. And they have ridiculous staying power, as Skyrim will show you.
Mm-hmm.
They can put it out for a decade on every platform and still sell millions of copies and have people buy it multiple times. So those are the 3 I added in. The 3 I would take out for those would be Forza, Flight Simulator, and Hellblade. So I guess my overall synopsis of this is, yes, Bethesda does change things, but changed it not that much as far as shifting the balance of power, I feel.
My thought when I put my list together is, man, Bethesda makes a bunch of great Game Pass games. Because I dipped my toe into Prey, I dipped my toe into Dishonored. Was that what I was thinking of? Evil Within. So all the I dipped my toe into a bunch of those games and nothing really hooked me for whatever reason. But just they make good games, but I'm not standing in line or pre-ordering these things. Or it's not a huge event when they put a new game out outside of Elder Scrolls, outside of Fallout. Everything else is kind of just building up their catalog. But
one thing I'll give Bethesda their studios credit for is they're not afraid to try new things.
No,
they have their they have their Fallouts, they have their Elder Scrolls, they have Doom that are their, those are their pillars. That these are these franchises. They've been successful. We're going to keep doing more in this realm of gaming. But then they do throw their their Dishonored out there and Evil Within, and they try a bunch of different things, and some of them hit and some of them fall flat, and that's going to happen if you're trying new things and not just putting out the same thing year after year.
Right, and then 15 years later they put out Rage 2.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just for real. I mean, but if they have an idea, it's just they feel very comfortable with putting something like that out, which I totally applaud, because you never know what's going to stick, you never know what's going to hit. And all these games all have rabid fans too.
Right.
So that's not an accident.
Right. No, absolutely. And that's the thing, because for me, like I said, that's why they're on my list. I mean, Wolfenstein and Doom, they I just absolutely enjoy those all the time. And but things like the Elder Scrolls games, this is gonna be great for me because I always buy them when they come out. I play them for 2-3 days.
How many times have you bought Skyrim?
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you bought Skyrim?
I bought Skyrim. Let's see. I bought it with an Xbox and Switch, so twice, only twice.
Did you buy a PSVR?
I've resisted the VR one.
I take that back.
Which was very difficult.
Was my PSVR came with Skyrim, so that's
okay.
but yeah, no, I wanted to. I want like so many times I've been wanting to grab the VR one. I'm just like, no, just don't do it. Like I just want to check it out, but it's like I don't waste the money because you're not going to play. But like that's the thing. Like with a lot of because like it was funny because like when we're going down this list, I'm like, well, let me look and see what was just added to Game Pass. So I'm like, this is all these games for me are like the type of game where I play it for like a couple days. Like it's great, like it's good. It's just not for me. Like personally, like Fallout 4 when it was added to Game Pass for the first time. I downloaded it. I was like, you know what? Let me try this again. I played for like 4 hours like the first day. Like I'm like, oh, this is great. Like actually I don't know why I didn't get into this before. Never loaded it up again. Like that's just like I don't know what it is. It's just like that's just the way it is for me. Like with those type of games. So this is so for me like that's the thing. This is great for Game Pass because like gives me that chance to let's see if something catches or not. Like when I was going through my funk and I was like loading up games, I loaded up Dishonored, the definitive edition. I played the first like 20 minutes. I'm like, this is cool. I'm like, let me see what else there is. And then I honestly don't think I'm going to go back to it. Like,
but it's like another thing about Bethesda is like, I can't point to a game where I'm just like, nah, I don't play that at all. Like everything's just like, I'll give it a spin.
right.
I'll try it
Yep.
out. And
Yep.
that's what a perfect Game Pass game is. Like
Yep.
it's worth enough time for me to download it, try it. If it works out for me, cool. If not, then whatever. But I'm not at no point if I ever looked at a Bethesda game and be like, I'm not trying that at all. That's stupid. I'm not playing that game. That game's not for me.
100%.
I did that with Rage 2, but that's only because it was coming out right around the same time as Borderlands 3, and I was sold on Borderlands 3, and they seem very similar in concept.
And it's also very similar to the Far Cry
New Dawn.
Oh yeah,
expansion. New Dawn, thank you.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, I mean
and it sounds like from the way Phil Spencer's talking, like their expectations with this are kind of in line with what you guys have said, and what I agree with is that like this is great for Game Pass because like not everyone's gonna have the time or attention span to like even if say Fallout's your thing, you love Fallout, you'll play it till the end of time. If you pour whatever 80 hours into one of those games, you're probably not gonna go out and buy Wolfenstein, but maybe when you decide I don't want to drift through the wasteland one day, Wolfenstein's on here. Let's see what this is about, and maybe it grabs you, maybe it hooks you. If nothing else, you could sit there and you can say, and Microsoft can say, look at everything you're getting for your $15 a month. Look at everything you have available to you.
It just keeps getting better,
and
it just keeps getting better.
It really does.
And it's not like they're not bloating their numbers here with low quality like shovelware indie games to say, oh, we have 1,000 games. It's no, we just added 20 games to Game Pass, and they're in their time they were yes we added
Assload's 30. Buttload is
no, that's
40.
right.
Ass ton is 30.
Ass ton is 30. I gotta write this down.
A baker's ass ton is 32. If you go back and play, what was one of the games? Doom 1993. Okay, that's probably not going to be a top of the line title right now, but in its day, it was great, and some people like to go back and play those retro type games.
And how fun is it? How fun is it just to be there?
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like.
And there's going to be some kid who stumbles on that and be like, oh, I've seen this in movies and TV shows.
And then look, you got like 4 more Doom titles to play when you're done with that one.
Doom 64, by the way, go play it. Like this is not on Game Pass. Seriously, like I never played it when it was on 64. I bought it for $5 when it came out last year on Switch.
Yeah.
And oh my god, like it's great. It's great. So like the fact that it's on it's on Game Pass now, like I'm probably gonna jump on Game Pass to get it to get it and go again, because also with the Xbox it's nice, 60 frames and everything like that in quote unquote 4K and everything. But it's and I'll take some achievements while I'm at it. That's the only thing shutting down Nintendo right now. That's why that's why I'm gonna load up Octopath 2 next week. Those good old achievements. But like that's the thing. Like a lot of people actually didn't like Doom 64 was it's just Nintendo 64. So you never had a 64, you never played it.
Yeah,
so
right.
Like this is awesome. Like this is a great opportunity for that. Like it's fantastic.
So yeah, I think like everything else I talk about in here, it's keeping your expectations in check. if you're expecting this to, they acquired Bethesda and now Xbox is going to outsell PlayStation 3-1 as far as hardware goes, your expectations are unrealistic. If you think this is going to pump up their Game Pass subscriber numbers a little bit, yeah, it probably is. Because and if it doesn't do it now, it'll do it when Starfield comes out, or it'll do it when
God.
Fallout 5 comes out, or the next Elder Scrolls, or whatever it is.
And that's the key. When those come out, I'm going to be very curious to see what those system sales look like. Because by that time those come out, there should be plenty full of systems available.
Right. Yeah.
So I am very curious to see what those numbers are going to look like.
Yeah, remember when my original plan was just like, I'll just wait to buy next gen console until I see it in the stores? How dumb that would have been if I would have done that. How stupid.
You've been waiting until about 2025.
Still haven't seen one yet.
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, all right. I want to. All right.
Good luck with these too. I hear these are impossible. The headset's impossible too.
Forget it. All right. I want to spend 1 second talking about the first party Microsoft Studios. So 3 years ago is when they had their first buying spree. Is that right? At E3.
I want to say about 3 years ago now. Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Something like that.
Right? Yeah.
So we still haven't really had that influx of games from them come out yet, right?
Yeah.
We had Grounded. What else? Gears 5. Oh no, Gears 5 doesn't count. They already had that.
Bleeding Edge.
Bleeding Edge. Thank you for remembering Bleeding Edge.
It's dead now already, but
I mean, what? And I think that's it.
Yeah, I have no idea.
From their new studios.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and make your point before I jump in.
No, no, that is my point. It is like, but in 3 years we've gotten a game that's in early access and a game that's dead.
Right.
So when I mean, we know some of them. Like we know Perfect Dark exists. We know Fable exists. We know some of the other games exist. But like, when do we start seeing the actual like AAA first party games from Microsoft come out on a more regular basis?
I don't know. This fall.
I think this fall is when it's going to start. Like, there's going to be one or two this fall. Like, it's still going to be slow. Don't get me wrong. Like, but I think this fall we're going to get one or two. E3 is going to show off. Like, they're basically going to do what.
E3? It's funny.
Well, E3, quote unquote E3. Like, we know it's like they already kind of saying it's going to be digital. Yeah. So Microsoft will have their digital thing, and but it's going to be like kind of like how like Fallout 4 was, like with how they announced it and then it came out in the fall. I expect two pretty big titles to happen like that for Xbox in the fall. That we don't have, or not necessarily even a first announced, but like ones that we currently don't have dates for. Like that one that Rare's working on. That what was that? What's that one called? Something wild.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It looks awesome. It looks pretty. I'm curious to see more on it. But I have a good feeling that one will be out in the fall. And then it won't be Hellblade because we have not seen enough of I don't think we've seen enough of Hellblade yet.
You shut your mouth.
Dude, I want it to be Hellblade. Trust me, I want it to be Hellblade. But I think it's gonna be one more that we don't currently know about that they're going to announce, and then from one of those studios, and it will be out in the fall. And it sounds like Forza might be in the fall too.
I would, man. I maybe next time we can go down with the first parties and like what they're making, because like I can't even I don't even know.
That's not a bad idea.
I don't know if all those new studios, like I don't know if we know much of what anyone's doing right now.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point I was going to make. Like even the games that we know that they're working on, so the new Fable and Perfect Dark and stuff like that, like we know they're working on, but we don't actually know what they're doing with it. We don't have a good idea of like what it looks like, what what's changed, what's new, what's shiny. At least with the Bethesda stuff they're getting, like these are known entities. There's been a Wolfenstein game out in the past 3 years. There's been a Fallout game out the past 5 years.
Right.
You kind of know what you're getting with what they can produce. So, I think that adds a little more, luster or cachet to the whole Game Pass experience in the Microsoft first party studios. Um, and that's not to say that I doubt that those studios they acquired 3 years ago or started from the ground up, whatever, they won't put out good stuff. But I just don't think we know enough about what those teams can do to sit there and be like, yeah, this is going to be a home run, no doubt.
And a bunch of those studios were either just launching a game,
right,
or are Double Fine. They have been working on Psychonauts 2 forever. So like a lot of those studios, I don't know where they're at in their development. I mean, it's been 3 years, so I mean, maybe some stuff's coming out sometime in the near future, but it's gonna be interesting, man.
If Psychonauts 2 does not come out this fall, I'll be shocked. For how long that game's been in development, I mean, now and they've had Microsoft money for that was one of the first announcements. That was an E3, so we're talking 2 years of Microsoft, at least 2 years almost of Microsoft money. If that game does not come out in the fall, I'll be shocked. Phil's got to be talking to Tim, he's got to be pushing him, hey man, where are we? What's going on here? We got to get this out.
I will say that I do appreciate Microsoft's patience on all this stuff too.
Absolutely.
The whole cyberpunk cautionary tale deal. I got plenty to do. I got plenty to play. Let's put out
get it right.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do that. So yeah, it's I don't know. This is interesting, man. I think all of these studios. I mean, they have so many studios now working for making Xbox games. So let's see some fruits of the labor here.
Yeah. I have a feeling that it's going to slowly trickle fall 2021, and then 22 is going to be an explosive year for. I just have this gut feeling.
All right, I'll put something together for you guys. I'll put a list of all the first-party studios. Let's do PlayStation 2 and see if we know what they're working on. If we don't know what they're working on, I think we should speculate.
Sweet.
Speculation is
speculation
fun.
And rumors are awesome.
Yes, especially when people think they're facts.
Let's see if we can make a rumor go viral.
Yeah.
Next time.
Okay, we got to figure.
We should think of some good ones.
Yeah. What was the movie that had that in there? It's you got to believe it, or you're not gonna know.
It was Seinfeld.
Was it Seinfeld? No. It was
it's not a lie if you believe it.
No, not that. It was something we gotta make a rumor up where this actor is like choking people, and then they then God, what was that from? Oh, it's gonna kill me. I'm gonna figure out the second we sign off. It doesn't matter. All right, I think
we got two. You got 2 weeks to figure it out. We'll kick off our speculations with it.
You know what? Just pick a movie and say it. We'll start that rumor too.
I like it.
Perfect. All right, that sounds like a plan. All right, we'll see you next time, Stickheads.